There is a fruit sitting in almost every kitchen on Earth right now that was once believed to kill anyone who touched it. Nobles avoided it, physicians warned against it. For nearly 200 years, an entire continent looked at this bright red fruit and saw not food, but death itself. By the end of this video, you will understand how something as innocent as a tomato became one of history's most feared foods. When Spanish conquistadors first brought the tomato back from the Americas in the 1500s, Europe had no idea what to make of it. It resembled deadly nightshade, a plant whose berries had killed for centuries. Botanists took one look at its glossy red skin and its place in the same family as belladonna and made a chilling assumption. If it looked like poison, it must be poison. The fear did not stay in the laboratories. It spread into the streets, the churches, and the royal courts of Europe. Wealthy families who could afford imported pewter plates began falling mysteriously ill after certain meals, and the tomato took the blame. What no one realised was that the real danger wasn't the fruit at all. It was the plate. The acid in tomatoes was quietly leaching lead out of pewter dishware, poisoning the rich, while the poor, eating from wooden plates, remained perfectly fine. This single misunderstanding gave the tomato a nickname that would haunt it for generations: the poison apple. Italian herbalists cautiously suggested it might be edible, but most of Europe wasn't listening. Instead, the tomato was relegated to gardens as a decorative curiosity, admired for its colour, never touched at the dinner table, treated more like a dangerous ornament than a fruit. In some regions, suspicion escalated into outright prohibition. Certain physicians and local authorities actively discouraged or restricted its consumption, warning that eating it could cause fainting, seizures, or death. For a plant now found in nearly every cuisine on the planet, it once carried a reputation closer to hemlock than to dinner. It would take nearly 2 centuries and the desperation of poorer communities who couldn't afford to waste edible crops before the tomato began clawing its way back into acceptance. Southern Italian peasants, with far less to lose and far less access to fine pewter dishware, began quietly incorporating it into their cooking, discovering it was not only safe, but delicious. By the late 1700s and into the 1800s, attitudes finally began to shift across the continent. Cookbooks slowly started to include it. French and Italian chefs began experimenting more openly. The very fruit that had once been whispered about as a poison was now finding its way into sauces, stews, and the earliest versions of dishes that would eventually define entire national cuisines. The final transformation came from an unlikely place, not fine dining, but industry and immigration. As Italian immigrants carried their tomato-based recipes across the Atlantic and around the world, and mass production made the fruit cheap and abundant, the tomato completed one of the most dramatic reputation reversals in culinary history, from feared poison to global kitchen staple in the span of a few centuries. Today, the tomato is the base of pizza sauce, pasta, ketchup, and salsas eaten by billions of people every single day. Almost no one who reaches for it remembers that their ancestors once believed this same fruit could kill them on contact. The plate, not the plant, was the true poison all along. But it was the tomato that paid the price in reputation for nearly 200 years. And if you think a feared fruit is strange, wait until you hear about the spice so valuable that a single sack of it could buy a house, and men were willing to sail across oceans, risking death just to bring it home. That story is coming next.